I don't even really know how to start off a discussion like this, right? I'm gonna make people mad with what I say, and I'm not sorry for anything that I'm going to say in this video. I don't care who gets mad, because at the end of the day, the people who are going to get mad are the people who don't really freaking read comics, they don't know anything about comics, they don't follow the history of comics, and they don't understand the struggle that comics have went through to get to where they are today. They just enjoy, where they are today and know nothing about the legacy. They know nothing about the characters or the character developments that have taken place over decades. So I'm just going to say right now, this iteration of whatever the heck you want to call him, I've seen the memes, but I'll be nice. I'll just call him Superboy. I'll still use that as an insult because he sure as heck ain't no man with the way that he's thinking. This little new recent, reveal of Superboy, being bisexual, right? People like to say that everyone who's freaking out is like just one of these old fossils and they're outdated and they're the phobic people, they're the bigoted people, right? And let me explain to you the sheer stupidity of trying to wokeify the Man of Steel. Well, excuse me, the Boy of Steel, right? The idea of woke people and social justice warriors are people who believe that they are doing the good of others who cannot, fight for themselves or feel like they don't have the power to. So they get out there and they protest, they get their little, mobs together and they talk about whatever issues, are important to them. Climate change, again, bigotry, or whatever else they feel so strongly about. You see, the sheer fact about it, folks, is these people do have points about certain things. I understand that they do have certain points about, the things that they are in fact passionate about. But you cannot apply too much real-world logic to a universe with freaking superheroes. That's just not... No. You're literally going to apply the same problems that Earth faces, like with the problems that people would face in a comic book universe. Like, let's just talk about, the meat and potatoes, right? Let's just talk about the fact that, Superboy's going to be bisexual. They're making this, like, the selling point of his character. Like, this is the main thing that we should like. Not just that he's bisexual, but the fact that, he represents, the younger person in America and all that bullcrap, right? The whole, we need to care about the environment and whatnot. And don't get it twisted, folks. Let me make myself very clear. I am by no means one of these people that believes that some of these issues that, someone who I don't necessarily agree on all the way, that means everything that they speak about is false. I do, in fact, think that the environment is important. I do, in fact, think that, yes, there are certain groups that, perpetuate bigotry. But funny thing is, the group that does perpetuate bigotry the most, in fact, is the people that are trying to be catered towards in this comic book, the SJWs. If you disagree with any kind of thing with an SJW, for the most part, there is no peaceful way to, coexist. There is no coexistence when you disagree with SJWs. There is only, you are wrong, I am right. Period. And if you don't believe that, then I'll take away your job, I'll take away whatever, because you're not suited to hold a position in society because you don't have the right think. And the worst part about this is they're trying to apply this to a universe where we literally have one of the most powerful characters ever created in comic books. They keep giving this man feats after feats after feats, and you are trying to say that he is going to have the same level of concern for things that we would. He's going to think on the same level as a person. Yes, they try and give Superman his humanity. Yes, I get that. But at the same time, the guy can literally survive solar systems exploding. And you're literally trying to say that he's going to care about the same level of things as us here, who are literally just pretty much nothing compared to Superman, if he was real, And this is the point, okay? This is the point. This is what I'm trying to get at. And I feel like I might be going all over the place, because, like I said, I kind of just got to get this out of my system, right? Superman is literally a character that is on another level. He's on another... Sometimes the guy is literally virtually on other planes of existence, and you're trying to say that he is going to care about the same level of things that we as humans will. And he does to an extent, but nowhere near as much as people would want him to wokeify things. To me personally, if you're going to have Superboy, you know, because that's what he is, he's a boy, he's sure as heck not a man if he's going to think like that, you know, care about things to say, well, we need to protest and we need to fight bigotry and all this stuff. Do you realize what an idiot that makes Superboy? Do you realize how much of a boy that makes Superboy? We here protest because we don't have the power. Back in the day, you know, like most people had militias and all kinds of things, and so eventually when you had enough, people would usually try to stage coups, okay? We still may have that now where, you know, a lot of us have weapons, but, you know, we don't have anything near the level of, you know, the US military, so there's no real way that we'd be able to stage a coup if, you know, like, we really did call for it. Difference is, a guy who can bend steel, survive nukes, and survive suns exploding in his face is literally going around walking and protesting. Why? Do you guys not understand how much of an idiot that makes him? A guy with all of the power in the world, realistically speaking, is literally saying, we must do something. We must take action. A guy who can fly faster than light, a guy who can hear people before they even press a nuclear button, and you're telling me that Superboy, you know, is a character that we need to, like, be completely in favor for because of how bold, you know, this new look for Superman is, right? Because I'm telling you, he's got to be a boy. He can't be thinking like a man. There's no way. There's no way that a character who could... Let's talk about all the things that, you know, SJWs, like, want to talk about in, like, comics and in general in life, right? Climate change, bigotry, hate speech. What else? Like, you know, wealth inequality, healthcare, and all that crap. Okay, let's talk, right? Let's talk for a moment. Superboy alone, being a Kryptonian, having access to the Fortress of Solitude, has access to Kryptonian science. He could easily make a renewable resource for the entire world. And even if he couldn't do it by himself, there are tons of energy projectors in Marvel that could stain renewable energy. They could literally stream renewable energy and just feed all of the power on Earth dozens of times over. Millions of times over. According to some of the things. I mean, the Flash could literally probably alone, just like running, generate tons of electricity for the entire world. All the speedsters, you know. And that's just one, for example, right? You're literally saying that Superman, you know, wouldn't be able to stop the melting of polar ice caps. He could freaking refreeze them with his super breath. Superman has literally frozen tidal waves like the sizes of freaking, like, nearly like the entire state of, like, wherever the tidal wave was. He's frozen that entire thing with super breath. And you're telling me that he wouldn't be able to freeze the polar ice caps? I mean, him and Aquaman could probably go there, like, just get some freaking water together and, like, just make the ice caps even bigger than they were previously. He could, like, zoom around the Earth super fast and, like, go over all the places that are deemed too hot, you know, and cool it down with super breath, right? I mean, folks, like, I don't think people realize just how dumb. He could make the soil with all of the stuff that DC has. Just Superman, right? He could literally deal with all problems on the Earth if he wanted to. Having a character that is walking around protesting as though he does not have the power to do anything about it, and he must get those in power to do something about it, is the stupidest thing that you can possibly do for a character that is Kryptonian, and thus they automatically have a general higher level of intelligence than most people on Earth. Hello? Like I said, like, people don't realize that Superman is literally nearly perfect in every aspect. You know, intelligence included. He's not dumb by a long shot. So every single, like, seriously, every single problem that, like, SJWs can think of, saying that this is a better Superman, a guy who's walking with signs, a guy walking with signs, who can literally blitz around the Earth at faster than light speed. This is a better Superman for us all. And yeah, like, he even moved away from, like, the motto, truth, justice, and the American way. You know? And in a sense, I personally, you know, this might be, you know, conflictory. I personally don't necessarily mind that. Mainly due to the fact that the American government, much like in real life, in DC, is very shady, and so if he wants to just say that he fights for truth and justice, then I get that. Now, I know why they moved him away from the saying. That's mainly due to the fact that, you know, America is bad, all that BS that they want to say. And can we talk about for a moment that, they're talking about, like, Superman being a white male savior? I'm like, hold the heck up. The guy is from an entirely different planet, and you're still trying to apply race, air quotes? He's a Kryptonian. What the heck does his skin pigmentation have to do with, like... You're gonna say... What, you're saying that Superman has white privilege? He has Kryptonian privilege, if anything, but... I mean... When someone said that Superman is, like... When I saw, like, articles saying that he's a white male savior, I'm like... Okay. I guess Kryptonians and human beings, you know, have the same biology, you know, like, I'm positive, you know. Superman is a white male. Freaking joke, right? So, what I'm getting at here is this, folks. Having a woke Superman be someone who's complaining about injustices happening in the world when you have the power to end all injustices in the world is absolute stupidity. It's sheer stupidity. It really is. There is not a single thing that we have going on in the world right now that Superman, if he was here, couldn't stop, according to all the powers that he has. There is no way he could single-handedly bring about world peace. Easily. You know, that's kind of one of the issues that I personally have with Superman. Because, I mean, here you are, able to hear all of the stuff happening on Earth, and you can blitz around at insane speed, and, like, before a criminal even, like, swings a bat at someone's head, you could blitz them and have them in jail. Around the Earth. Because his powers are in there that, like, crazy if you actually, like, look at continuity and look at some of the stuff that he's done. And he still, you know, like, he still, like, lets the crap happen before it, you know, before he decides that. That's kind of what makes, like, you know, some people wonder about Superman and wonder about, like, you know, why is he letting it happen. But Superboy? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't talk about his boyfriend, right? So let's get on that. It's the lovely thing. So apparently they're saying the damsel in distress thing is a bad thing for Superman. And I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, here's the thing. If you try and date a being that can survive in space, can survive solar systems exploding, you know, whole black holes and all kinds of crap, right? Don't expect to live in their world, okay? You are basically an ant courting a freaking elephant, as far as I'm concerned. You're an ant courting an elephant. There's going to be some complexities in that relationship. For one, if you get punched by someone, you know, like, you might get knocked the heck out. If someone punches Superman, their hands are breaking. If you get hit by a train, you're going to be a pancake. If Superman gets hit by a train, the train's going to stop. This concept of saying that, oh, well, the relationship of Superman and Lois, this supports the patriarchy, and he's literally a superpowered being from space that can break the world with punches, and you're literally trying to say that Lois being rescued by him, and humans in general being rescued by him, yeah, like, just what further progresses patriarchy? What? Hello? Like, I don't know what you're smoking, but you really need to get off of it if you really believe that this logic is good. And now, like, they're trying to say, well, you see, that's the thing, you know, Superman's partner, he's gonna be his equal. You know, he's gonna be his equal. He's gonna have the ability not to be hurt. Which I think is complete bullcrap. And I'm sure, let's be real for a moment, whenever they introduce a character that is virtually, air quotes, invulnerable, that character can still get hurt. Let's be real. Okay, let's be real. We have characters that are like cosmic level abstract beings in DC. And even though they're supposed to be invulnerable, there are ways that they end up getting hurt. So this little freaking whatever that they're going to be doing here, it's not gonna make the character interesting at all if he's just automatically invulnerable. And let's be real, like, are they gonna give him, like, you know, a whole bunch of other powers like the usual Superman, like where he can fly and all that bullcrap? I don't know. We'll have to see. Well, actually, I'm not gonna see it because I'm not gonna freaking read it. And I encourage you, if you don't like that, don't read it either. Do not support industries telling you to go F yourself and telling you that, like, all of the continuities that you have pretty much become established to don't matter because I said so, I'm the author, and I can just change whatever I want to out of whim. Yeah, you do have the power because you are the creator of that series, or you are the current writer in charge of the project, right? I understand that. But at the end of the day, guess what? We don't buy your work, you don't get your money. Plain and simple. You could have spent all your time and all your effort and all your energy drawing these panels, writing out that story, you know, paying your workers. But if we decide not to buy your stuff, you don't have crap. I'd argue that right now, the comic book industry as a whole, Marvel and DC is doing terrible. Manga has comics beat in virtually all ways, mainly because mangas usually cater more towards adults in the first place, and they don't try and be woke. For now. You know, like, because I promise, there's going to come a time, do not think Japan is safe, where they're going to start going after that too, and in order for them to try and, like, write stories more towards, I guess, you know, American audiences, then they might try and wokeify manga or something, or they're going to try and say, well, manga needs to be it needs to have a certain level of wokeness or some bullcrap, right? But realistically speaking, comics in general gets most of their money from cinemas. That's why we're constantly having DC, you know, Justice League movies, and we're having Batman and Superman movies and Avengers and all that. They get all of their money from TV shows and cinema. That's where they're getting their money from. People don't buy comics. I haven't bought a comic book in probably decades. Well, not decades, because I'm only 23, but I have not bought a comic book in a very long time, and frankly, I have no desire to. The only comics I'd probably have a desire to buy are older comics. Just to say, you know, I remember a day back when comics were actually good. You know? I promise you that most comics that are, like, gems in history, you know, the truth is this, like, they're probably not going to ever get the proper recognition that they deserve. Mainly just because the fact that they're old and no one's really willing to, I guess, revamp them, or, like, not necessarily revamp, but, like, remaster them, if you will. There are some brilliant comics out there that have way better writing than any of the crap that SJWs want to make with their comics today. And people want to say, well, why do you hate it so much? Like, why do you have such a problem? It just shows that you're a bigot. No, the problem is this. A character does not get to win at life because they're gay. Okay? Just like I don't get to win at life because I'm air quote straight, or all that bullcrap. Whatever kind of orientations we got going around, because, you know, it's never enough, because then, you know, you got cisgender men and whatever, like, you know, context that they want to label us and categorize us, right? Here's the thing. Whenever an SJW talks about comics and whatnot, a character that is inclusive and diverse always wins because they're gay. They have no other redeeming factor to them other than their orientation, which is complete bullcrap, and it's boring as crap. Whenever I'm applying for jobs, they don't give a crap about my orientation. They are usually mandated to say crap like that these days. You know, we don't discriminate based on, you know, religion, gender, race, sexual orientation, all that crap. They care about my experience so that they can know what kind of character I am, and if they feel as though I'm worthy to be hired. What DC and Marvel do is say, because you're gay and because you're that, you're just gonna win. You're just gonna win. We're gonna give you bullcrap feats so that you can just get all this plot armor. Like, you think Batman is bad with plot armor with prep time? Nah, man. Have a freaking diverse character in the mix and just watch all the plot armor bullcrap that they get. Look at Harley Quinn in today's day and age. I can't. She's always literally seen fighting characters that should legit pancake her. She doesn't have gadgets. She doesn't have experience with extensive martial arts. She is literally just a freaking gymnast with a mallet and guns and bombs, and yet she's able to fight characters that literally just put Batman on his behind with all the gadgets that he has instantly. It's bullcrap. Look at people like Batwoman, right? Name me anything that's really cool about Batwoman. You know, we can name stuff about Dick Grayson. We can name stuff about Damian Wayne. We can name stuff about Tim Drake. But, Batwoman? The main thing that we know about Batwoman, over and over and over and over and over again, is that she's a lesbian. That's the main thing that they tell us. Heck, even in the recent, story that I was following along for years now, right? Think this has been going on for like 2 to 3 years. Immortal Hulk. Pretty solid story so far in comparison to most of what Marvel writes these days, but even then, it's got some problems. I'd probably say that overall Immortal Hulk's run is like 6.5. Not amazing. Not bad either. You know, it's pretty good in comparison to all the other stuff. Immortal Hulk. There is a character in Immortal Hulk, right? And her name is, I believe, Dr. Charlie McGann or some bullcrap, right? And the one thing that they have about this character that is significant in the entirety that this character has been in the freaking run is that she's trans. Nothing else is significant. You could literally just take that away from her and you probably wouldn't necessarily remember anything about her. You just know that that's the trans person. That's it. Marvel does not know how to write a character being more than who they screw in the sheets. That is why it doesn't work. That is why we don't like it. It has nothing to do about being discriminatory, bigot-phobic. Don't care about that. These people don't know how to write anything that is not involving the freaking character's sexual orientation. And let me be real with you folks. A superhero, you know, holding close to certain ideologies, you know, like, in the context of what they want, you know, a superhero, air quotes, to be, you're going to be saving people quite often that don't agree with your ideology, you know? Seriously, you know? I mean, let's be real, like, Batwoman, for example, you know, obviously she doesn't really care for men if you look at her backstory. And so, let's be real, if she was ever in a co-ops mission because the Joker was in Saudi for some reason, right? She has to literally choose not to kill people who are oppressing women in order to still be considered a superhero, right? The thing about SJWs that they don't get is these characters that they want to be, you know, like, woke and whatnot. The only way that they can stay woke is if they continue to have the problems that are here that you can identify with. But they literally have the power to stop those problems. Okay? Well, let's just be real. They have the power to stop those problems, and they allow them to continue. So Superboy, literally just sitting there and watching all this crap happen, because he can literally see it and hear it, and choosing to do nothing but sit around and walk with his boyfriend and whatever, right? Yeah. It's absolute stupidity. And I don't care what anyone says. I'm not going to apologize for that. And I think that all true comic book fans should feel the same way. There are people who are actually gay and whatnot who think that this is absolute bullcrap. They think whenever there is an SJW story, it just makes things look bad because they're so focused on not offending anyone or stepping on their toes that they don't give any substance to this character. The only thing about the character is they are gay. They are a feminist. You know? That is it. That is it. Nothing else. Honestly, folks, I'm gonna be real. I have no intentions on reading any of that. I will not be reading this. I doubt that most people will. The thing that this person who decided to do it, I can't remember his name right now because really I don't have any desire to mention his name. he's only doing this for, like, the typical narcissism that SJWs usually have these days. They like to virtue signal and say, look at me. You know? I'm woke. See, guys, I'm hip. I may be about 30 to 40 years old, but I'm hip. I'm woke. I know about life. I wish that I could be like the cool kids. The cool kids that are all over here hating life and believing that they should kill themselves because, you know, life has no meaning. That's who they're trying to impress. My generation is a generation of, to be honest, no offense, guys, the most depressed, anxious people in history. In human recorded history. And this is the people that you're trying to make sure are happy with your work. They don't give, they are angsty and do not give a crap about life. you think they're gonna care about your freaking comments just because they got a gay person? They don't even watch. They do not even spend their time doing that. They spend all their time on Twitter complaining about how awful everything is. Okay? Let's just be real. That's coming from someone who is actually born in this generation. And even though I don't freaking carry myself like them, I know what they do. Like, let's just be real, folks. These people do not watch this stuff. So the sheer fact that people are constantly trying to say that, you know, media should be more inclusive to the people that don't even take part in it, it's freaking ridiculous. It's just like people saying, you know, we need to change those violent video games. You guys remember that? People that aren't playing video games are talking about violence. The same people that watch movies like Saw. The same people that allow you to sit around and say that Expendables is an amazing movie. Because it freaking is, and there's so much violence involved. The same people that saw movies back in their time, like Predator, Alien, hello? The Thing, where people are literally getting assimilated alive, hello? And you're talking about violent video games? The same people that were caught in scandal after scandal about all the so-called truths that they hold self-evident about men being created equal, and still feeling as though they could treat other human beings like dog crap? Come on, guys. Let's just be real. Let's be real for a moment. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's people who are from an older generation or a newer generation. Things that people use to fuel their fire for anger and resentment are literally just because they don't want those things, because they usually try and portray things better, you know? That's why they don't like movies when we're trying to say, hey, you know, I think we should have movies that, you know, tell things more from maybe a person who was in the Soviet Union. Maybe get a Call of Duty that does talk about, you know, a Nazi soldier in Germany that didn't want to be a part of it but had no choice. We never had that. Why? Because you're romanticizing Nazi Germany. You're talking about the Soviet Union because everyone wanted to be in that stuff. Just like everyone wants to be, you know, an American these days and be living paycheck to paycheck, right? 50% of America lives paycheck to paycheck, and so because I am in America, I want to live paycheck to paycheck, right? Right? That's how it works. I hate the fact that things that honestly bring us together, you know, things that honestly try and show that, you know, all cultures have their differences and whatnot, but inherently we usually want the same thing. Shows like Avatar, we're never going to see stuff like that. We're never going to see stuff like that, because we have to wokeify it, and when you wokeify it, you take away what made the show good. You know. But I'm going to just cut it here, because I don't want to go on forever and ever, because I really could, but I think I've pretty much gotten most of what I wanted to say with this out of the way, so hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.